It's been a while since I created the last video or I posted something, and the reason was because I was busy with bootcamp and busier than before because we got to a point where we are applying everything we learned through the last 5 months into projects. So last week was a group project where we created a full stack application, and on the front end we used React, and on the back end we did Flask. And I discovered a few interesting Flask packages that I really liked. For instance, Flask REST Plus is amazing. However, it took me a while to get it to start with that because it was buggy. So switched into React X. Sorry, React X, Flask, REST X, mixing the stuff. And this week I'm working on projects. So in this video, I want to share with you something that I think we all have to be aware of. We as experienced software engineers, but also especially for those who are aspiring software developers, those who are just learning to code for entry-level developers. The reasons why I want to share this is that something that I realized recently from talking with my cohort students, teammates, let's say that, and also from an interview that I had yesterday, and I'll talk about that in just a moment, more about that. So, software engineering is not something that you have something sorted out immediately. Like when you have a project, there's a lot of what is it's part of that process. There is design stuff, deciding how to implement something, deciding what packages to use, what to do, and so on. And there are certain things that immediately we think they are complicated. And it's natural to our brain to think about something that's complicated, something that we are not comfortable with yet, something that we don't know yet. So if I were to provide an example, a while ago at work, when we got a new project, a new module, it was something related to transportation, which included Google Maps. And immediately I wanted to do that. I really was intrigued by that. And at the same time, I felt that that is super hard. Sadly, I didn't had a chance to work on that. Somebody else implemented that feature. It was a different team. And at the same time, I kind of was relieved because like, oh, I think it was, I thought it was complicated and I didn't think I'll be able to do it. So it was kind of, I didn't want like that imposter syndrome that like, if I were to do that, now it will be the case that they will discover that I'm not capable. And that's just being honest, right? I go through those kind of feelings a lot of times through my life, through my career, and so on. So I remember when I saw that being implemented, I thought, oh my God, that person is super smart who got it to work. Fast forward to now, the project that we worked on last week as a team. I worked on the back end, so I implemented the majority of the back end, and it was super cool. But at the same time, I wanted to try the Google Maps because I was sure it was super complicated. When I started to put it together, immediately it's like, oh my God, this is so hard. And it took me a couple of hours to get it to work as it should. And finally, towards the end of the day, I got it to work exactly how I wanted. I was able to add markers, change the marker, and so on. And after I got it to work, I was like, oh my God, this is so easy. Like anybody can do it. So I realized that that is true for me most of the times. Like when I start something, it seems super scary and I don't think I'm able to do it. Once I start to do it, give it a chance, give it a true chance to figure it out, make it work, and then it's like, oh my God, this is so easy. And I believe that's the case for anything, like learning to ride a bicycle. Initially, it's so hard until you start to get the hang of it, like left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot, or something like that, right? And coordinate your hands and stuff like that. And kind of the same as with software engineering, trying to understand like, okay, this method has to be invoked this way. We have to pass this in here. This has to be done first. Here are the parameters. Here are the arguments. Here are the callbacks and all of that stuff. And once you get it to work, everything starts to make sense. So that was my realization. And when my teammates saw that being implemented, everybody's like, oh, that's so cool. But in reality, it's super simple. And if I were to take a day prior to that being able to implement, I would have thought that, oh, continuous thing is really complicated. And I'm glad that I gave that chance to myself to figure it out. What I wanted to say next, from talking with my colleagues, I realized that majority of them are watching YouTube tutorials, different courses, like all of us, as even professional developers continue to do that when they have to do something that they haven't done before, they're watching tutorials. But for entry-level people, for people who just start to learn, unfortunately, there's this message that is being delivered without it being, said, but that's something that we get from those videos, is that when you sit down at doing something, you have a project to do, you sit down and you know where to start, you know what packages you will do, and everything seems to be flowing so naturally when you look at those tutorials, the majority of them. Like a person has an idea, they sit down at their computer, the ideas flow through their mind to their fingers, and they type that, they transform that into zeros and ones that at the end on the screen they will see what they wanted to do. So they will the message that is being delivered is that software engineering, it's simple as that. Everything flows naturally. There's a natural flow in those videos. But in reality, the majority of those videos are done and produced in such a way that the person does that project prior to that. And the reason is that because they want, I don't want to say that they don't want to show you the natural progression or anything like that. The reason is that in a very concise a matter of time, they want to deliver the message. They don't want to confuse you. They want to show you where it goes what. Kind of, it's a teaching material, right? When you go to college, a teacher, he already knows that material, right? He already done it or learned it and stuff like that. He doesn't show you how he learned it, like what were his struggles, how did he got to that realization. So that's true with tutorials as well. It's a person who already gave himself a chance to sort out everything, have a flow. So that's what you see in those videos, a natural flow, a natural progression. And sadly, you don't see those moments, those evolution of events, the moments where the person doesn't know how to do or doesn't know which best way to go. Should they use this package or this package? Should I implement this method this way, or should I have a callback, or should I use an interface? Like whatever is the flow, that's not being what is delivered in those videos. So, and those are done for a reason. And I don't think that the person has that idea that they want to show you, oh, I'm this smart and I figured this immediately or something like that. That's not what they're trying to do. They just want to, for your time, in most concise time, to teach you something, right? But sadly, unconsciously, the message is being delivered that as a software developer, when you have a project and you want to work on it, when you sit down, that you have to be able to kind of sort stuff out immediately. So my friend in the cohort, she's like, oh my God, I so want to be like this developer. And I don't think I'm a developer. I'm not ready. It's like, what do you mean? Like I asked her, do you know how to implement this method? The answer will be yes. She knows how to do that. Do you know how to do this? Yes. Do you know what's happening here? Yes. So she knows all of these pieces. But the fact that the message is being delivered that you should be sitting down at your computer and everything is being developed so naturally without any guessing or without any discoveries or anything like that, you feel that you're not a true developer or you're not ready, which is not true. Software engineering is a natural or iterative progression. At least in my case, right? When I get a project, I'm super scared. I don't know what to do. I don't think I will be able to do it. So the first step, I'm trying to break it down into smaller pieces and work at them one piece at a time and just make it work. And then I'm planning to refactor it and see if there are better ways of doing that. So that's kind of what I wanted to say, that the persona that is being delivered as in those tutorials videos is not what is truly to be a developer. When you're at work, there's a lot of research, discovery, design, and stuff like that. And one of the best things is kind of to get that joy of discovery of getting something to work. So hopefully this makes sense. Another reason also, let's say, in the interview that I had yesterday, and it was in regards to my YouTube channel, and in particular with the image that I'm trying to deliver as a technical person. And from the questions that I was asked, I realized that I also deliver a message that I kind of have everything sorted out. And that's not true. I'm a person, I'm a mess. Like my office, if I show it to you right now, it's a mess. So let's look at my surroundings. So I have a book that I'm trying to read whenever I have time. I have, you can see my setup here. I just finished installing my updated the OS. Here's me working on my capstone project. I have documentation right here. And here I'm part of a meeting that I'm kind of waiting right now. Here I have a board where I draw or drop my all ideas, put them there if something comes up. I'm eating breakfast at my desk, which I don't recommend ever doing that. You have to have a life balance. Yeah, so that's my surroundings. And if you look around here, I'm probably moving too fast, so sorry if I make you dizzy, but here are my assistant's gear that she was playing here, and now she decided to take a break. So yeah, that's me being creative, right? It's a creative mess or a process that I'm having, right? So don't think that I have everything sorted out, or the people that are showing stuff that they have everything sorted out. Maybe they discovered something that worked for them at that time. So getting back to the message that I was trying to deliver in that video, I show that I wake up at 4 in the morning, and maybe that sounds like, okay, that's what you need to do. But that's what worked for me. You didn't see that prior to that, I was waking up probably, I don't know what was the time period that before that I was waking up at 6, which I thought it's also early, right? So I was waking up at 6, and I realized in those cases that I was not as happy as I could be, and there were multiple reasons. And I was getting up at 6, getting ready, packing the food, lunchbox, and all that stuff, waking up my baby, getting her ready, dropping her at the daycare, and then getting to work, getting stuck in traffic. When I was getting to work, I was immediately pulled in different directions to different meetings, stuff that I needed to do. And finally, when I would get time to work on programming stuff, I'll be out of energy, out of ideas, and I won't deliver the software that I'll be proud of. Let's say that I'll solve the bugs, I'll be stuff. I was more reactive than proactive. And those cases don't make me happy, let's say that. So my decision was to change my schedule because I know that I'm most productive in the morning. So I decided to wake up in the morning, and I gradually got to that point where I was able to wake up that early. And I'm the most productive in the morning, as I said, and you will be amazed how much I was able to get done in those couple of hours in the morning of quiet. It was quiet for me. I just woke up. I'm full of energy. Nobody from work is trying to interrupt, which I'm interrupting as well. What I'm trying to say is that it's a natural process, but also as a creative person, you need time to focus and be in the flow. And my time of getting in the flow was in those cases in the morning. So that's what I'm trying to say, that try to see what works for you. I share that I wake up that in the morning. I share that this persona, a tech mom persona has to wake up this early to be able to have her shit together, which is not the case. I am a human being. I'm discovering what works for me and what doesn't work. I have times when I'm productive and times when I'm not productive. And sadly, when you see these videos, you see the person at a specific time frame. And those videos, it was a version of me last year. It's not necessarily the version of me today. So that was kind of the message I wanted to share with you today. And if you find this something that other developers should see, I will encourage you to like this video, because you know the YouTube algorithm loves when videos have a lot of likes. That way it promotes and suggests the video to other developers, other people who have the same interests. So you being a developer, watching this video and liking it, it will probably enable the video to be shared to other developers. And also, if you will like to share the video to people you know who want to get in software engineering, who want to learn, or who are already software engineers, I strongly encourage you to do that, and I'll appreciate you a lot, regardless if you do or not, because you watched this video until the end, and I want to say thank you for that. And as always, I'm wishing you to stay sharp, to stay creative, to have fun, and be the person that you want to be at that time.